Alright, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the heavens and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is the brother Iron from the Jamaica camp. Come with another quick lesson. And just gonna jump around from a few excerpts from Second Maccabee, jumping from a few chapters, you know, especially chapter 7 and chapter 8, or chapters 6 through 8, really good chapters that you could read, to give, yourself an idea of what's gonna happen in times to come. Because just as how, our forefathers, chose death rather than be defiled with idols or to partake in idolatry, or even to the point where they were martyrs. And then you had some who endured and withstood the heathen, as well as wicked men of our nations that were traitors, sellouts that were trying to that mainly did it. Most of them did it just so that they could have preeminence, or be chief, or always those guys that are chasing leadership. Second Maccabees list a few of them. You had one Jason. You had one was I think Melananius, if I'm pronouncing that name right. That came against righteous men, so that the heathen could actually put them up in rulership, and then they would actually turn against our own people, and deal with them even worse than the heathen. And in the end, the Lord actually devoured them. And have agents within the camps that this will happen to you as well. And you have men that based on that pride and that lust for power are gonna do the same thing again. But the righteous, will endure. The righteous will receive everlasting life nonetheless. All right. So once again, I'm just gonna jump through a few precepts and a few points that stood out to me within these few chapters, and hopefully this is edifying. Now, the first excerpt I'm reading is from Second Maccabees 6, and I'll start at verse 8. It says, Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. And regarding this juice, things are gonna move from who has the juice from who doesn't have the juice, to who has the charagma from who doesn't have the charagma. And there's gonna be hard times. There's gonna be hardships. There's gonna be persecution, and for some of us, it's gonna be death. But there's a mindset that are within these scriptures, that can't be purchased with money, that will be able, to strengthen us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. Now let's see how dire those times were. Now this is verse 10. It says, For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babies handing at their breasts, they cast them headlong from the wall. All right. So they threw these women, off the walls because they circumcised their children. In the times to come, even you sisters that believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you also will be facing this persecution. It's not only the men, as we can see here. Verse 11, it says, Others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together, because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. And that's the thing. If once you have a mindset to uphold righteousness, to speak righteousness, to stand up for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and to do the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, then a lot of heat is going to come in these days to come. There's a lot of things that we must suffer, as we're being proved to be entered. We're being proven to see if we're worthy to enter the kingdom of heaven. Even to the point where it's going to be, giving up our own lives. All right. Verse 12 says, "Now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destructions, but for a chastening of our nation." And that's the thing. We have done things in our past lives that we will be chastened for, and we are doing things, even since whether before the truth and even in the truth, that we have done, that we also will be chastened for, in the days to come. But it is more of a purging, being made clean and going through that furnace of affliction unto everlasting life. All right. It says, "For it is a token of his great goodness, when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punish." All right. Now, I'm gonna jump from there and I'm gonna go to so okay, I'm gonna continue. Right. It says, "For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbear to punish, till they become to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us, lest that, being come to the height of sin afterwards, he should take vengeance of us. And therefore he never withdrew his mercy from us, and though he punished with adversity, yet do he never forsake his people." All right. It says, but let this that we had spoken be for a warning unto us, and now will we come to the declaring of the matter in few words. All right. So this is a warning unto us. Yes, our people are wicked, and the Lord is gonna punish them, but also there's gonna be mercy involved as well. He will not withdraw his mercy from us, and we're gonna see people that we love being put to death. We're gonna be seeing people that we know being put to death. We're also gonna see people that we love come up against us, and we're also gonna see people that we love try to actually get us to be put to death and turn against us. But at the end of the day, what needs to be consistent is the the fear of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Now the 6th chapter goes into what happened with Eleazar. You can read out the whole story. He actually didn't even pretend as if he ate off the the sacrifice, because they were going to give him meat that was lawful to eat, and let him act as if he ate it. And he said, "Look, no, I'm not going to put a stain to my name. I'm not going to act as if I actually ate off that sacrifice, whereunto we deceive the younger generation pretty much." All right. Now let me just start at verse 23 and I'll go down. It says, this is Eleazar's this is referring to Eleazar. It says, "But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his grey head, whereunto was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straight away to send him to the grave." All right. I think I should have started down a bit. It says, "For it becoming not our age," said he, "in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think Eleazar, being fourscore years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion. And so they, through mine hypocrisy, and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and that I get a stain to mine own age, and make it abominable. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. And that's the thing, you know, even in the, you can, if you take the charagma, you know, you're basically preserving yourself from men for a time, but you will not escape the hand of the Almighty, because there's a judgment written for those who take the charagma. And if you think you're going to act as if you take it, and you also, lead others to do the same, you know, you're going to be punished just the same. All right. Now, I want to jump down a bit. Verse 30 says, but when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that that had the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in my body by being beaten, but in soul I am well content to suffer for these things, because I fear him. And that's the thing. We need to pray for that spirit where the fear of the Lord goes before everything. The fear of the Lord goes up before losing anything, whether it's your life, whether it's your family, whether it's your woman, whether it's your possession. The fear of the Lord should come first in all things. Right? It says, and thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. All right? These are some key mindsets that we need to have. Now, I'm just gonna jump to a few points, for the 7 sons that were being persecuted. Second Maccabees 7 verse 2 says, but one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. And that's the thing, we need to be ready to die more than take this charagma. Verse 6 says, Yahweh looketh upon us, and in truth had comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declaring, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. All right? So Yahweh Shem Yahushai will be comforted in his servants. All right? And jump into verse 7, it says, so when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin off his head with the ear, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? He answered in his own language and said, no. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. All right. Slovakia. Right. Verse 10 says, after him was the third made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, these I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again. So this man despised even his body for the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. Jump into verse 14. It says, so when he was ready to die, he said, thus it is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from the Most High, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. And that's the thing, even if we're being put to death, that scenario is to have us to always be looking and hoping towards Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. Verse 16 says, then he looked unto the king and said, thou hast power over men. And Esau Edom, he has power over men. Thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of the Most High. That's the thing, even though some of us may go through these things and, they're going to be persecution, maybe not unto death, but regardless, we are not forsaken of the Most High, because we know what is to come. It says, but abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. And right after, once the servants are sealed, and who, and the elect is sealed, and it's proven who are the Lord's chosen, then when those chariots return, then that's game over for all these heathen and 2/3 of our people. Then that's a wrap. All right. It says, after him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. And that's one of the key things to remember, that yes, we're being proven, and we're being tried, and we're being put to death for the names of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that we're also being punished for our sins. So whatever is brought upon us, we are deserving of it. But nonetheless, there's a reward to be had. There's a reward to be had dying for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished. Exactly. Esau, Edom will not be unpunished. All right? Now, verse 22, this is the mother speaking. She said, I cannot tell how he came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the Creator of the world, who formed the generation of man, and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as he now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. And that's the thing. We being put to death for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we being persecuted for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, will receive our lives again. And even verse 22 cuts the fact of these women saying, I gave these life, and the woman is God because she brings forth children. This woman says that she doesn't know where they came from in her womb. All right. Jumping down to verse 27, this is her speaking again. It says, but she bound herself towards him, laughed the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her own language on this manner, O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee such 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. And that's the thing, with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, he made everything, and it says what, fear not him that can hurt the body, but fear him that can have hurt the body and the soul in torment, which is the Most High, roughly paraphrasing. Fear him that can destroy both body and soul in hell. Right. All right, jump into verse 34. Well, I'll read down. It says verse 32, it says for verse 31, it says, and thou that has been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hand of the Most High. Esau, Edom, and these heathen won't escape. For we suffer because of our sins, and though the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one with his servants. Exactly. Once that we're corrected, once we're put back in order, once everything has been fulfilled, then that's it. But thou, O godless man, and all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of God. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the Almighty, who seeth all things. For our brethren who now have suffered a short pain are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. And that's what we're under as well, through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So Esau, Edom, he has his reward, right? But thou, through the judgment of God, shall receive just punishment for thy pride. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching the Most High that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is the most high. Right? It says, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. And that's pretty much what we hope for. You know, we're hoping that, through us, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we obtain that spirit where we go through all of this, all through what the betterment of Yesharallah, you know, being the hopeful elect. We want to be that the first fruits of the Most High who would actually, be delivered, and with us, the starting of the kingdom of heaven may begin. And there's just one more thing I want to bring forth. This what's that? Second Maccabees 8, and I'll start at 16. This is with Judas Maccabees, when they were actually, fighting for a nation. And this is also a good mindset to have. This is Second Maccabees 8 verse 16. It says, so Maccabeus called him men together unto the number of 6,000, and exhorted them not to be stricken with terror of the enemy. So we should pray to Yahweh Shem Yahshai that our fear is in him and not in the fear of Esau Edom, and and the hell that is about to break loose on the face of the earth. Yes, we're in the flesh, but we need to pray for that spirit where we're not stricken with fear. All right, it says, nor to fear the great multitude of the heathen who came wrongfully against them, but fight manfully. Exactly. We want to be given the spirit that we endure and take these things as they are, and that we overcome in the end, and to set before their eyes the injury that they had unjustly done to the holy place, and the cruel handling of the city, wherefore they made a mockery, and also the taking away of the government of their forefathers. For they said, he, trust in their weapons and boldness, but our confidence is in the Almighty, who at a beck can cast down both them that come against us, and also all the world. Moreover, he recounted unto them what helps their forefathers had found, and how they were delivered when under Sennacherib, Sennacherib, 180 and 5,000 perished. And it starts goes into some other accounts. But here's the thing, Esau, Edom, and these heathen, trying to set up this new world order and everything, with this charagma and everything, they come with their weapon, they come with their pride. But we have our confidence in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who, at a beck or at a call, can actually, cast down both them that come against us, and also all the world. Because, we are not of this world. We were chosen out of the world. So, Yahweh Shem Yahushai will gladly conquer the world for us. As Yahushua said, will not the Lord avenge his own elect? We will be avenged. We will be strengthened. But we need to, remember, as it says, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience of the scriptures. As a matter of fact, let me just get that. I always forget how it's quoted. For our learning. Right. For Romans 15 verse 4, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right. And that's the thing, that now the patience and the consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to the Messiah Yahushai, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High, even the Father of our Lord Yahushai HaMashiach. And that's the thing. We with these stories and these things that were written aforetime, we are strengthened, we're comforted, we're edified, we're built up in the spirit, And with that, it guides us and helps us to know what we ought to pray for. Strength, fear in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, faith, humility. We pray for that righteous spirit that leadeth unto salvation, right? The spirit of endurance, that we may endure unto the end. Because believe it, we're going to need it in the times to come. We see how much, how our righteous forefathers have been persecuted in the past. And we saw how they overcome. And through their example, that is how we will overcome in the time to come. We are of that belief that, through the faith and power, through faith and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, or having faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we will be given the spirit to overcome. All right? So with that hope, this is edifying. Once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom.